Okay, today we're going to do the June 2012 paper 2 variant 2-1. Okay, tells you at the top of the question that you can prepare some reports. I told you all currency has to be in euros and the date has to be day, month, year, the British format. Then tells you use the suitable database package, which is Microsoft Access. You have to import the file. Okay, so before we import the file, we have to create a database. Click on Start, click on Access 2007, you click on Blank Database. From file name, you will change it to June 2012 to 1. Then you click on the folder to select a location to save the database. So we save it on the desktop, ICT course, June 2012, paper 2, variant 2.1, and we click on OK. So this will save the database in the folder you have selected. Then you press Create. Okay. Now we have to import the file JXII So we click on External Data from the top menu. Then we click on Text File. From file name, we click on Browse, and you go into ICT course, you go into your June 2012 paper 2 folders, variant 2.1, and we find the file JXII cast, click on it, press open. Then we click on OK. In the first step of the import text wizard, we click on next. The second step is important. You look at the data. As you can see, the first row has field name. The second row downwards has the data. So I tell the program, first row contains field names. So it separates the field names of my database from the data. Then I will click on Advanced. Assign the following data types to the field. So for each of my field names, I gotta have these data types. So that means I've got my field names here, and I've got to make sure the data types are correct. So by looking at the question, I have to change price to currency, and I will have to change sold to Boolean. So VIN, no change is required. Model, no change is required. Power, no change is required. Engine size, no change is required. Price has to be, click on the drop down list and change it to currency. Color, no change is required. It said discount applied has to be numeric and 2 decimal places. Double is a numeric value that can have decimal places, so no change is required. Date sold is date and time. Just make sure the date order is day, month, year. Salesperson is text, no change is required. And sold has to be Boolean, which is yes and no. Then I click on OK. Then I click on Next. Then I click on Next. In the question, it tells you that VIN is the vehicle identification number. Each car will have a different VIN. And it tells you at the top a primary key is used to uniquely identify each record in the database. So a primary key is a field in a database where each value is unique. That means two values cannot be the same in the field. And it told us in the question that VIN is different for each car. So choose my own primary key and VIN is selected. Then click on Next. Then click on Finish. Then click on Close. Okay, table 1 is open by default. I close table 1. I have my imported file on the left hand side. I double click my imported file and the table opens. This view is called Data Sheet View. Let's have a look at the fields. Price has to be changed to euro. At the moment it's sterling. Discount applied has to be changed to 2 decimal places, 0 and 0.1 and 0.2 is not to 2 decimal places. And sold has to be changed to yes and no. So that means we have to change the format of some fields. Okay, to do that, we go into our design view. So we click on Datasheet, we click on View, and we select Design View. Okay, this is our database design view. We have our field names and the data types we made in the wizard. This key means we made VIN a primary key. So let's click inside Price. From Field Properties, from Format, we will choose Euro. From Decimal Places, we will select 2. Then let's click on Discount Applied. Double means a numeric value that can have decimal places. From decimal places, I will select 2. And from Format, I will have to select Fixed. Okay, that will make sure even the values like 0.1, which is to 1 decimal place, will be displayed as 0.10. And sold, I have to change the format to yes and no. Okay, that's my format changed, and it told me in the question 29, save a screenshot of the field names and data types and place this in your evidence file. So I'll press print screen on the keyboard. I'll open up Microsoft Word. Okay, I will put my name in the center number and candy number in the header footer. I will include a title and then a subheading, database evidence, changing field names, and then I will paste my screenshot into my evidence document. Then I go on to step 30, okay, where I have to insert 3 records in my database table. So my design view is complete. I click on Save, I click on View, and I go back to Datasheet View. At the bottom I have the number of records. I click on this icon here, New Blank Record, and it takes me to a blank record in my database table. Now I can start typing in the 3 records it told me. So 377 C1 C154 2301 2301 8. The car is Micro Z. Power is D. Engine size 1200. Price 11,000. Color is red, and location Madrid, and sold is automatic No. And my other record now, my bin 377 C154 2323 model is Model Z, power D, engine size 1200, price 11,000, color is green, and city is Paris. Now the last record, the VIN number is 377C15423020. Model is Micro Z. Power D, 1200, engine size, price 11,000, color is gold, and location Hamburg. Sold is automatic now. That's my three fields added in, and it says check your data entry for errors. So just make sure there are no spelling mistakes in the three fields you added in. Then you click on the save icon. Make sure you save your database table, save the data. Okay, so that's the first part of the database question complete. Our next part will be looking at making reports. Okay, now we will continue with our database question. Step 33, produce a report. And it's given me bullet points to guide me in making my report. Now, an important thing to remember is these bullet points may not be in order. Okay, so you will have to know when to do each action for each bullet point. So I'm going to give you the first golden rule. That is, before we produce a report, we have to make a query. A query is a way to search the database. And the keywords we look for in our bullet points is show only the record. Okay, our first bullet point says show only the records, but model is Micro Z and the car has not been sold. So this is what we will look for in our query. Okay, so let's get started. So before we make a report, we click on, got to make a query. So we click on create, then we click on query wizard. In our first step, we press OK. In the second step, we click on this icon to select all the fields. Then we click on next. In the third step, we click on next. Okay, so this is the final step of the query wizard, and it says, do you want a title for the query? Okay, I will advise you include the same title as it tells you to include in the heading of the report. So in this case, it's list of Micro Z cars for sale. The title would be list of Micro Z cars for sale. Then you click on modify the query design. Then you click on finish. The next window you see now is called the query design view. Okay, now we can start making our search, and the keywords were show only the records, but model is Micro Z and the car has not been sold. So in our field name, we look for model. Okay, I find model. Then in criteria, I type in micro Z. I click outside the field, and it automatically puts micro Z in quotation marks. I don't have to do that myself. Then I scroll across. I look for the field sold, and then I criteria. I type in no. Is the cars that has not been sold. Okay, so that's my search complete. Next thing I look for is show only the fields. The second bullet point tells me I only must show VIN, model, power, engine size, price, color, location, and sold. Okay, so that means in the row show, I want to take off the fields I don't have to show. So I don't have to show discount applied. So I can take that off, go across. I don't have to show date sold, so I can take that off, and I don't have to show salesperson, so I can take that off. So I've ticked off discount applied, date sold, and salesperson from the row show. That means they will not be displayed in my query table. Okay, let's have a look, make sure I've done everything that's required. Okay, this bullet point, source the data into ascending order of VIN. I can do this in the query design view from sort, click in the field VIN in the row sort, and from the drop down list choose ascending. Okay, so now I've completed all the steps I can in my query. I click on run, and this is my query table. All my model is micro Z, and the sold is no. So I know my query is correct. Now I can make my report. So I click on create, then I click on report wizard. You must save the query, click on yes. In my first step, I select all the fields, then I click on next, then I click on next. You can also sort the records in this step. We could choose VIN, and that would put it in ascending order. Then you click on next, and it tells me in the question, choose a report with that has a page orientation of landscape. So I click on landscape, then I click on next. You can choose any design, click on next. Okay, the title is the same as it asks for in the heading of the report. That's because I named my query the same title. I will leave preview the report checked, and then I will click on finish to see how it looks. So at the moment I need to make some changes in my design because not all the labels are visible in full and some information cannot be seen. So I will close print preview, close the list so you can see all the information. This is called the report design view. Okay, to make the field columns larger and smaller, I will click on view and I go into layout view. So here I can make my columns larger, I make VIN larger, I can make model smaller, I think it's too big, so make power smaller, engine size I make it smaller, price is okay, I make color smaller, and location, and sold I have to increase in size. I scroll down, and as you can see page number is split over two pages, so I can make the page number smaller, and I can make it a bit tidier by putting it at the edge of the last field. So that's all my field names are now fully visible. So now it tells me I got to, in the feature report, which calculates the total number of microZ cards for sale and has a label number of cards for sale. So that's the label for this calculation here. So an easy way to calculate is right click on the sold field, the mouse cursor over total sold, then click on count records. The program will do the calculation for us. Let's scroll down to the bottom of this field. As you can see, it's counted how many cards have not been sold, but it has no label. So I click on the calculation, then I right click on the calculation, then I click on set caption. The, the label says record count. I need to change that to list to number of cards for sale. So for my mouse cursor in record count, then type in number of cards for sale. As you can see, it overlaps my calculation. So I'm going to have to change the size or move the field. Okay, so have a look. I click on the field and I can move it. So I move the field so it doesn't overlap my calculation. So I've completed all the bullet points apart from the last one where it says you need your name, center number and candy number on the right in the footer. So to complete that action, I will go click on view, then I will go into design view. So in my page footer, I want the label. I need to make it slightly bigger, so have a look, mouse cursor changes and I make my page footer larger. My details I will include in a label, so from design I will click on label and then I will draw a label on the right in the page footer, and inside the label I will type my name, I type my center number and I will type my candidate number. Okay, so that's now complete. I just make it a bit neater, move it to the edge. So all my bullet points are complete. Then it tells me step 34, save and print this report. So I click on the save icon and I click on view and then I click on print preview to see how it looks. Okay, let's make it smaller. So list of mugs that can't sell title is correct. I can see all my labels in full and I can see all the data. At the bottom I have my name, center number and candidate number. Let's go to page 2. Okay, I can see all the information in full. I have my calculation, number of cards for sale, and that's the result of my calculation. So I've got to click on 2 pages and I have my details on both of the pages. So now I can print the report. Then I will close print preview. I will close my report design view and I will close my query that I used to make the report. The only thing left open now is my table I imported at the start of the question. Okay. So next time we'll move on to step number 35 where we will produce another report. Now we will go on to the final part of the database question where we have to produce another report. So 35, produce a new report from all the data. And then it gives us a set of bullet points, guidelines in making the report. So the golden rule I told you previously, before we make a report, we have to make a query wizard. And what do we search for in our query? The key thing we look for in these bullet points is show only the records. So this bullet point tells us show only the records where sold is yes and sales were made in 2012 and the salesperson is Gelder. So let's get started. So make sure your main table is open, JXII CAS. Click on create, then click on query wizard. Click on OK. We select all the fields, then we click on next. Then we click on next. What title do you want for the query? I would have the same title as it tells me for the report title. Sales record for Gelder. So I call my query sales record for Gelder. Then I click on modify the query design. Then I will click on finish. Okay, now I have to start my search where sold is yes, sales made in 2012, salesperson is Gelder. So I look for the field sold, and so here, and in criteria I type in yes. Then I look for the field date sold, and in criteria I would not type in 2012 because if I click on our database table, date sold is not only 2012, it's the day, the month, and the year. So here I'll make this column larger, and I'll have to type in only cars sold in 2012. So I can type in between, and I type in the 1st of January 2012 and the 31st, that's the end of the year, slash 12th December 2012. So this tells the program search between the 1st of January 2012 and the 31st of December 2012. I click outside it and it automatically puts the hash symbols between the dates. I don't do that myself. Then I need to look for salesperson, and in criteria, in the row criteria, I type in Gelder. Click off it and it automatically puts quotation marks around Gelder. That's my search now complete. 2 new bullet points in this report. The first two. The first one says contains a new field called discount, which is calculated at runtime, and it must be price multiplied by discount applied. So how do you know when must you do a query in the query design view, that's this view, or the report view? So when it tells you contains a new field, new fields are created in the query design view. So I click inside an empty column, then on query tools I click on design, then I will click on builder. So this will help me make my new field. So it said the new field is price, but double click on price, multiplied by, So multiplied is star. I click on star. By discount applied, so I double click on discount applied, press OK. I click just outside this row, and as you can see, I make the column larger. It's called my field EXPR1. I need to change this name to discount, so I will delete EXPR1 only, and I'll type in discount, because it said in the question contains a new field called discount, so I've named it discount. Then I click on save. Okay, now I must create another new field called sale price. This is price minus the discount. So click inside an empty column. From design, click on builder. Okay, I double click on price. I click on minus, and then I double click on discount. Then I will click on OK. Same thing, I click outside this row. This goes to the start then automatically, so then I select EXPR1 only, and I change that to sale price. Let's make this column larger. Okay, as you can see, sale price is my new field name, then it's two dots, then it's price and existing field name in square brackets minus discount, field I created previously in square brackets. Okay, then it told me the third bullet point, you got to set the discount and sale price as currency to 2 decimal places. So I click inside discount, then I click on property sheet. From format, I will choose euro. I cannot see decimal places for the moment. Then I click on sale price, and from format I will choose euro. Okay, I'm going to click on run just to see if the calculation has worked correctly. Run, and I go over it across. Yeah, it's added in 2 new fields, discount and sale price, and you can see by default it's 2 decimal places. So let's go back into design view. View, design view. As you can see now, I click inside discount, and decimal places is now visible. So I can select 2, but by default it was already 2. I'll close my property sheet. Okay, next thing I'm looking for is show only the fields. So I must know which fields I have to untick. So this bullet point here says show only the fields: salesperson, model, price, discount, date sold, sale price, and sold. So any fields I do not want to show, I will untick it from the row show. So I don't have to show VIN, so I untick VIN. I don't have to show power, so I untick power. I don't have to show engine size, so I can untick engine size. I don't have to show color, and I don't have to show discount applied, and I don't have to show location. I must show date sold, salesperson, and sold. Yep, and I must show discount and sale price. Okay, so I've unticked the fields I do not want to show. So next thing I'm looking for is must I sort my table in ascending order or descending order of any field. So this PowerPoint tells me it's sorted in ascending order of model. So from the row sort, for the field model, from the drop-down list, I choose ascending. So that's all my query complete. I've done my search. I've made my two new fields, discount and sale price. I set them to euros from property sheet, and I've unticked the fields that do not show, and I've sorted my database in ascending order of model. Then I click on run. Okay, so as you can see for model, yep, it's sorted in ascending order. Salesperson Geldorf, dates are only for 2012, and sold, yes. And I got my two new fields I also made. Now it's time for me to make my report. So I click on create, then I click on report wizard. If you ask me, do you want to save the query? You click on yes. I select all my fields, and then I click on next. Then I click on next. You can also sort the database from the report. So I select model again, and then I click on next. Then I want to check the question to see if the page orientation has to be landscape or portrait. So it has a page orientation of portrait. So portrait is already ticked. I click on next, choose any design, then click on next. The title, sales record for Geldorf, is the same as it asked for in the question. I'm going to preview the report, then click on finish. As you can see in the preview, I have to make date sold larger, and I can make some field columns smaller. So I close print preview. This is the report design view. I click on view, and then I click on layout view to change the column sizes. The model I'll have to make bigger so I can see all the data. Price I can make slightly smaller. Date sold I can make bigger. Salesperson I reduce the size. Sold is all visible. Discount I can reduce the size slightly, and the page number is not split over two pages. So all my information is clearly visible. Then it tells me I've got to calculate the total value of these sales and place this below the sale price column. So below this column I need a calculation. So I can click on the column, I can right click on the column, from a mouse over total sale price, and I want to know the total value of these sales. So I want to add up all the values in sale price. So I'll click on sum. So it automatically calculates all the values and places it at the bottom of sale price. It tells me in the question I need a label to the left of the total value saying total value of sales. Okay, so to the left here I need a label, so I click on the calculation, I right click, I click on set caption, and I've got to change this to total value of sales. So I delete this and type in total value of sales. Okay, I will move it slightly to the left so it does not overlap my calculation, and tells me has the total value formatted as currency with two decimal places. As you can see, the calculation is automatically set in the correct currency and to 2 decimal places. Now the last part of the report is has your name, sender number, and candidate number on the left at the bottom of the report. So to do that, I will click on View, then I will click on Design View. So it wants my details on the left at the bottom of the report. So this time I will just add my label in the report footer. So I'll click on Label. I will draw a label on the left in the report footer, and in here I'll type my name, then center number and candidate number. Okay, so that's my label complete. Save and print this report. So I click on the save icon, I click on view, and I click on print preview. So as you can see, I've got the correct title, all the data and labels are visible. I have my calculation under sale price, and I've got a label for my calculation, total value of sales, and my name, center number, and candidate number at the bottom of the report. Let me make it smaller. You can see at the bottom of the report. I put this inside the report header, okay, because the report is only 1 page. If the report was more than 1 page, I would put it inside the page footer, because like that, if I put it inside the page footer, it's shown on every page. If I put it inside the report footer, it's only shown at the end of the report. So if the report is 1 page, it's not necessary to put it inside the page footer, to put it inside the report footer. Okay, so I click on print, then I will close print preview. Okay, so that's my database question complete. I click on the save icon. These are all the queries and reports are made. I can close sales record report, and I can close the query, and I can close the database. Okay, that's it. That's the database question complete.